Hi guys, this is Alia, the love coach, and today we are talking about anxiety and how to understand it, how to be more of in control of your anxiety. In this lecture or video, I am going to go in a lot more details with anxiety just to understand emotions in general. So hang tight and let's take the journey to understand. If you're somebody who goes through anxiety or panic attacks, you know that this is not something that is small. This is definitely something that is huge in your life. So first of all, anxiety is, you can say, one of the emotions that we will consider the way we experience our surrounding. It could be anxiety, feeling anxious, feeling angry, feeling happy. All those are different forms of our self-expression or how emotions are, or what we experience as our emotions. Now, just to look at what an emotion is, it's an energy that is moving through your body. So something happens around you, and then you get excited, or your energy try to vibrate on the similar frequency, whatever is going on in your environment. If something wrong is going on, another person is angry, you're going to vibrate at a frequency of anger. If someone is happy, you're going to feel happy, unless you come to a place where you control your emotion, you control your energy, and not your environment. So until you come to that point, you experience whatever is going on in your environment. So that is in general about emotions. And when they move through our body, we call them, that energy moves through our body, we call it emotion. Now, every single emotion that we experience, it has its own pathway, the way it moves through our body, the way the energy moves from the energy center that it moves, or you can say energy chakras, or what goes on in your mind, all that is connected. But today we are looking at only anxiety out of all the emotions, all the different ways you experience your environment. Now, a lot of people feel like anxiety is a thing in itself and they need to do something for it. And, that is the root of the problem. But in truth, if you dig deeper, anxiety is unprocessed fear. So it did not start at anxiety. That's why you don't see someone who is just born and they have anxiety. It takes them time to develop it. Usually, it develops in the teenage years. It's a very rare that 7 or 8 or 9 years old they are feeling so anxious that they will have panic attacks. It is a little bit rare to find, but of course it does happen. There are some young kids who do have anxiety and panic attacks. But if we follow the trail, it comes from the root of experience, some fear, some that they never processed. There was an event that happened. They were afraid, and that fear was suppressed, and it was never processed. And that's how we end up with anxiety. So why does it come up, and what can you do about it? First, I will talk about when anxiety happens, what is actually going on. The more we understand, the more we are empowered. So I will take you guys through what goes on. So anxiety usually always have a trigger. Some people are aware of their trigger and some people are not aware of their trigger. So if you're someone who don't know what triggers you to have a panic attack or to really feel anxious, then try to pay attention to that. Just entering everybody in. So anxiety always have a trigger. If you are not familiar with your trigger, then try to find what triggers it for you. And once you find that trigger, whatever I'm about to say next is going to make so much more sense for you. So the way it always works, something is going to happen in your environment. It could be someone screaming at you or yelling at you, or it would be a pressured environment or something where it, there's a specific demand from you, just giving you different ideas of what it can trigger anxiety for you. So the trigger matches the same vibration, whatever the fear started. So guys, before you joined, I talked about that anxiety in itself is not the thing. It's actually unprocessed. Uh, it's unprocessed fear. So that fear that did not get processed, it's sitting somewhere in your body. And when a trigger happened, that has similar frequency to whatever that fear was. There's some similarity to that. So when that comes in your environment, it wakes up the same energy that's sitting inside of you. And when the energetical shift, it's like a wave that starts to move through your body. So your brain gets a signal, you are under attack. There's something to be afraid for, of, run. So the whole nervous system that is responsible for the fight or flight response, it gets triggered. So we go, usually hopefully we all are relaxed right now and we are not in any kind of stress. So this would be parasympathetic nervous system, where we are calm, we are relaxed, our body is spending most of its energy to repair and to just, bring all the systems to their 100% functioning. And the other part, the other nervous system is sympathetic nervous system. That gets triggered when we are under attack, when something needs to be done, when there is a fire, and our brain just works so much better and we know exactly what to do to put out the fire. Because at that time, different parts of our body kind of gets activated. Our eyes, they dilate a little bit more, we see more, we hear more, blood rushes to all the extremities. So all the like your hands and your feet, they are going to have way more blood coming to them, because usually in that situation we have to run. So your body is going to get equipped. Okay, it's time to run. But now, if you are just sitting in your room and a trigger happened, and your body is going into this response that you have to run right now, there's no place to run. There's nothing to do. So your breathing gets heavy because the body's thinking you're running, but you're not running. And at the same time, you feel like you don't have control over your body. So there is a trust issue that builds up as well. I don't trust my body anymore. Why it's acting so weird? What happened? That's when we go into that confusion and we don't trust our body anymore. And then that attracts more fear. When there's lack of trust, there's more fear. So the root of anxiety started with fear. We took a whole big loop, and it brings in more fear for us. And again, we are going to suppress that. The anxiety attack will pass because your body will just go up and down, and then eventually it will realize, okay, nothing is happening. You're not moving, so most likely it was false alarm. So maybe after 5 to 10 minutes, you lay down, you walk around, you drink water or something that you do, or maybe you go outside, you talk to someone, maybe you throw up, maybe that's how bad it is. Body has to do something to feel like it did what it needed to do. you come on the other side, panic attack has passed, you're not feeling anxious anymore, and then you're just sitting there, okay, what do I do? The fear just increased, the lack of trust increased, and then there is an identity related to it too. Oh, I have anxiety. So there's three more layers now. Fear, we are not going to process it once again, it gets suppressed. And then the trust issues we build up with ourselves, we rarely look at those issues. No one sits down generally, unless you're working with a coach or a therapist, and say, you know what? I have trust issues with myself. I kind of don't trust myself. I don't trust my body. We don't look at it that way. So that gets neglected. And the last piece where we have this new significance that, oh, I have anxiety. That gives a significance. I have something, because you can label it. If I just say, like, it's unprocessed fear, this is just something your body's responding to a trigger, those things are not tactile. You cannot really touch them. But when we say, oh, I live with anxiety, if you look at it, I mean, I'm not trying to minimize this thing at all, but if you look in the social media, my job is to invite all of us to become very, very honest, and always remember, as human, we are way more powerful. And that is my job. That is my mission, is to remind women, remind people how powerful they are, that no anxiety can ever take hold of them. That is the truth. You are way more powerful than anything in this world. So right now, if you look at media, what we have done in just to try to bring more awareness to mental health issues, right now there's a whole movement where we are normalizing anxiety. A lot of people identify with being anxious and living with anxiety. There's that famous pill that people take called Adderall. There's more Americans who get prescribed Adderall than I think any other medication. I think every other person is on that medication, if not like 99% of the people. There's way more people who are taking Adderall, and like maybe your friend would be taking it and you would never know. It's that common. So what we have done, if you look at it, all we had to do is process that fear that started the whole thing. And now people are living for the rest of their life with that, depending on that medication, they have a label and they have a pill. And that's how we get so much significance out of it. And then that's how we keep living, instead of learning how powerful we are, instead of learning that this is something that can be handled in a matter of few days, if not few weeks, and you can go beyond it. So that is just to bring a little bit more awareness to what happens during anxiety episode and attack. We are going to talk about how you're going to grow beyond it. What can you do so you don't have to adopt to that label? There's so many labels in this world. You can adopt to, I am more powerful than anything in this world. That would be the perfect label to adopt to as a human being. I wanted to mention one thing before we move into that regarding to anxiety. Okay. So guys, I am recording this video. I know some of you joined late. I'm going to do my best effort to upload it to Facebook group this time, so you all can go back and start it from the watch it from the beginning, whatever other things I talked about. There was something I was going to talk about. Okay, never mind. It will just come back to me. Now, in terms of what's going on in your life, you are experiencing it. Now, if you don't have a pen of paper ready right now, no problem. I want you to think of it, think about your life, 0 to 7. Was there a moment in time that you felt very afraid. Maybe you felt afraid for your own life, someone's life. You saw something horrible happening. It could be even in TV. Because when kids are that young, they don't know what's real, what's just happening. They cannot understand it's just in the TV. Think of that. If something like that just pops up to you, write down that event. That is the event which caused the fear to build up inside of you. Everything that we experience is energy. That event that you experienced was energy too. It just got stuck onto your body because you felt it's happening to you. It could be like, a witch running after a kid trying to eat it. It could be even that small. But when you are that little, when your brain is in alpha brain wavelength, it does not know what is real and what is just TV. It has no idea. It is going to actually think there's a witch running after you and it's going to eat you. So it's very important you realize that. Now, pay attention to your body. As I am talking, that event or incident, whichever came up for you, where is it in your body? Now, just to give you a clue, it would be below your shoulder. It's not here. Energy usually, like the dynamics of our head are very different. So it sits somewhere lower than our shoulders. For some people, depending on if it was a situation where they were too afraid to speak, it gets stuck in their throat. So when they have a panic attack, they like their throat starts to close up. For some people, it's in their stomach. For some, it's in their legs. It could be in your hip area. It could be in your lower legs. It could even be in your arms. So feel where that event feels in your body, if you can feel it. And if you cannot feel it, imagine where it would be if you can feel it. Now you know that's where that energy is living. There are a couple of things you can do. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. The nature of our human being and the nature of emotion and how emotions are just energy in motion. Every single human, just by default, just how we were created, we all can process any emotion if we give ourselves time to process it. Naturally, we are capable to process grief, we're capable to process fear, happiness, excitement, sadness, anything under the sun that you can think of. We are naturally capable to process that. Where things go wrong, we don't pause to process it. We don't give ourselves permission to process it. For example, a very good example is when someone goes through a heartbreak. For example, let's say, I'm gonna take women's example because it's all women here. So, for example, a woman, she broke up with, her partner. He was not being nice to her. So she broke up. She took the initiative. She's like, I don't want you in my life. Now that breakup causes grief. But because her ego is going to take over and all her friends are going to tell her, why would you cry for someone like that? She's going to suppress her crying. She's going to tell herself, why would you cry for someone like that who did that to you? Don't cry. That's how women talk to herself. Her friends are going to say the same thing. Her family is going to say the same thing. You just go live your life. She's going to suppress all of her grief and she's going to go out and live her life. And society is going to tell her, you're a very powerful woman. You're very powerful. Oh my God, you're so brave. You're keeping it so well together. The more praise she gets, the more validation she gets, the more she's going to carry on with that kind of behavior. But that grief that got suppressed, that was not processed. She did not give her body the chance to just process it, let the energy move through her body. 2 to 5 years down the road, it's going to come out as some kind of illness in her body. Depending on what kind of impact she had, It could be like, something in her stomach, something in her intestinal area. It could be even something that starts in her reproductive system. A lot of women, after they go through breakup, if they are not really processing, there would be fibroids, there would be cysts, there would be all kind of things if they are still holding that resentment with their ex-partner. So if we just pause and give ourselves chance to process what is happening around us, let ourselves feel in the moment instead of being afraid, oh my God, if I let myself feel this, it might just, take over me. I might not be able to finish my schoolwork, or I might not be able to do the housework. I might not be able to do my job. If we go into those thoughts and we never process, it's going to just sit there, and in the future something bigger is going to come out of it. So going forward right now, if we all can connect with our emotions a little bit better, first of all, stay open to when someone says something, when something happened, right away you're going to feel it. Right away your body is going to say, I'm uncomfortable. Get into a habit of listening to that. As soon as you feel that, sit with it. Okay, body, what am I feeling? What's going on? What do you want? Get into a habit of having that communication with you. It's going to save you so many years of pain in the future. So many years. And it's going to make your life so much easier as well. And this is a practice that you will do every single day. It's a habit that you would build, because a lot of us, not just women, but men too, just in general, the kind of world we live in, we all are pretty much emotionally numb, because we feel like if we felt the emotions, then we will not be able to function properly in our lives, which is not true. An emotion takes somewhere like 24 hours to 48 hours to move through your body, if you would let it, depending on how severe it is. If you feel like crying while the energy is releasing, you can do that too. So for moving forward from now on, if you will start processing your emotions as they come to you, as life is happening around you, then I can guarantee you in the future there would be no anxiety, no depression waiting for you, because those are just suppressed emotions coming out and they are aching to be processed. Now let's get back to our topic on how to process that anxiety that has just been sitting wherever it's been sitting in your body. When you are, now that let's say, if someone here deals with anxiety a lot and they went back in the time, yes, there was an incident. And if you're not able to pinpoint that, it's completely okay too. And maybe you feel it more in your stomach. Now you know where anxiety lives. One thing you can do, I'm going to share quite a few things with you, quite a few ways. You pick which one is your favorite. One thing you can do is put your hand on your stomach and just breathe through that. You're inhaling and exhaling, or you can inhale love. Love is energy in the universe that heals anything. You can send love to anything or anybody and it will just heal, because it is that kind of vibration. It's not just an emotion that we feel. It's not just a feeling we have for opposite gender or for our kids or for other people. It's an actual energy that's in the universe, and that is the strongest. So you can put your hand, let's say, on your stomach. You can inhale love and you can exhale anxiety, if that helps for you. Or you can exhale fear, whatever feels easier for you. Or you can just put your hand over there, and when you're inhaling, feel like the oxygen is going right to that spot. And when you're exhaling, it's coming back. The carbon dioxide is coming right back from that place. Do that a couple of times. What we are doing, we are bringing the energy of your soul, the natural life force that's moving through your body, we are bringing it there. So it's kind of like bringing so much pressure that, it just pops and releases, and that area opens up. Now, this one you will have to do for a few days, multiple times in a day. At the end, we can maybe, during the Q&A, we can work through if someone was able to find it or not. We can work through that. Now, that is the first way you can do it. The second way you can do it is, let me think of if I want to share that. Okay, let me first tell you guys, because right now it's more important you know what to do when anxiety attack happen. So let's say we'll talk at the end how to fix it for the long run, because I'm just, as I'm talking, I'm just thinking that's very individual based, which way we'll go. So we'll get there. Let's say we are done talking here, tomorrow comes and a trigger happens and you're feeling anxious. In that moment, the biggest thing, the most important thing is to get your system from the sympathetic nervous system. It's under that fight and flight mode to parasympathetic nervous system. And if you experience a lot of stress in your body, you can apply this too, because any of those stress, anxiety, fear, all of those energy, emotions in your body, they are all triggering the same mechanism in your body. They are waking up the sympathetic nervous system. They're saying there's some danger. And, it could be as little as, for those of you who are married and have issues with the in-laws, it could be as small as just seeing your in-laws, hearing their voice, someone saying their name. It's very true. So many people experience anxiety just by hearing the voice of their mother-in-law. And it's not a joke. It's very true, because there has been so much unprocessed emotions there that it becomes such a big deal. So when your body's is switched to the side, your biggest job that time is switch to the other side. Now, there are quite a few ways you can do that. One of them is, if it's not very bad, is to raise your hands. When you raise your hand, you're using your physiology as a power to change how you're feeling. Anyone who raises their hands up like this, it's impossible for them to feel bad, because your body is getting a sign you just won. That's why you have seen every athlete who wins, no one comes and tells them. They just raise their hands and they just run through the playground. They're just going in circles just with their hands up, because for us human, this is the winner pose. And another one you can do is put your hand on your hip area and stand like this. And if you're not able to stand, then lay down and hold your hands like this. And if you are able to lay down, then lay down on your, now this is the third one I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you all that I know. So the third one I'm talking about, lay down on your stomach. This is one of the pose from yoga. It's called Savasana or something like that. There is some fancy name to it. Your stomach is on the ground and you're going to look right. And while your hands are on the ground too, and then you're going to look at the left. So what that is going to do, it's going to have your whole body with the ground. When it's with the ground, you are getting the electromagnetic from the earth. It's like your body is a tiny magnet and it's attached to a really big magnet. And it's getting all the force from it. And we know when two magnets, they come together, their force increases. Even if a metal come close to a magnet for such a long time, it becomes magnetized too. So you are increasing the magnetic field of your own body when you're laying down like that. And your body energy completely changes. So whatever was going up and down, it all just becomes smooth and straight. The flow of energy becomes really good in your body. So those are the ways where physiologically you can change to feel that. And now there's some other tactile or sense, nervous system feeling things you can do. One of them is when you run your hand on your other hand like this. It's a very baby touch feel. This also switches back to parasympathetic nervous system. And your body feels like, oh, if someone is loving me right now, I must not be in a dangerous situation, because in dangerous situation, you're supposed to be running, right? So that is another thing you can do. Now, given if your panic attack is not that severe, one of my personal favorite, which I use in any kind of situation, I'm feeling a little bit, just a little bit off. If I'm feeling like, I am in someone else's presence and I start feeling like, my body energy is not 100% in place, depending on how other person is feeling, it's just getting a little off. So this works on many different levels, but this touch makes you feel like as if you're a baby and your mom is holding you. That's how your body is going to feel. So you can all try it with me. Just rub your hand very, 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 very fast. Very, very fast. Do it like 30, 40 times if you can. What we are doing, we are increasing the charge between our two hands. And then you're going to put them over here on your shoulder. Go in circle in any direction 10 times. I like to just do outward circles first. And then go on the opposite direction. And make sure when you're doing it, your feet are on the floor, because we are connected to the electromagnetic of the earth then as well. So do that. And 10 times one side, 10 times other side, and then just feel how your body feels. Feels so calm and relaxed. So before you even feel like, okay, something is about to start, maybe try this. So these are the different ways you can take control of the situation in the moment. But the more you understand what is going on inside your body, the easier it would be for you to really grasp how to not let it go all the way till the other end, and how you can control it and be more in power. Okay. Other than this, so yeah, for like, where the anxiety is and how to process that fear, let's just open to Q&A, and I'll just answer whoever has that, because I was just kind of blanking out with my whole scenario I was playing in my head, like how we are going to process it without even having like a solid situation in front of me. So if any one of you have a problem with anxiety, we can process the whole fear so it's not coming in the future and bothering you. Now that's not going to maybe work 100%, but that is something you can keep doing over time, and that would help you maybe decrease the degree of how bad it shows up. So that is all, my friends. For the anxiety part, I'm going to stop the recording.